Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Kirsten Hunter and I'm just eager to share psychology with people. So today I'm going to talk about complicated grief. Complicated grief is one of those areas that is not commonly understood, but it applies to many people, unfortunately. So when someone comes along to session and they've just had a significant loss, usually it's to do with a death, obviously. There are other types of loss as well. Most people go through a period of very natural grief. So, grief is a very difficult time. Ultimately, grief is processing and it's adjustment. It's starting to comprehend that that person isn't here, that that's permanent, and it's learning to move forward in our life and to understand that they're not part of that, and it's really that process of adjusting. So, very difficult. There's no shortcut. I guess in session we just really help people to be able to process what they're going through so that they can get through it faster, and also to support them because that's a very challenging area for often friends and families to know what to do, which I'll cover in the next little video. And also for people to understand that what they're going through is completely understandable and normal, and there isn't a way that you should grieve. So that's grief. Now, complicated grief is different. Complicated grief is when the person becomes stuck in their grief. So 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 3 years, 4 years passes, and the person is still stuck in their grief, which is a horrible thing and you wouldn't wish it on anybody. And complicated grief is when the person's passing is really impacting on the individual's capacity to exist. It's when the person who's passed is so incredibly integral to their being that they just can't get their head around it. They're incredibly stuck. And often with complicated grief, we're really looking at psychological issues for the individual and what that person, the role that that person played. Now, complicated grief routinely is when there's the death of a child, because we're not designed to be able to process the death of our child. Really we should pass before our children. So complicated grief with loss of a child is incredibly common and very understandable. Other types of complicated grief might be that maybe a parent has passed away, but they just played such an integral role in the security, our sense of security in our world. We just can't get past it and we're stuck with it. So if you know someone or if you think that you're stuck in your grief, it's probably complicated grief and you really need some help. You need some help because it's not common sense to know how to dig yourself out of this horrible hole, and it is a very cruel thing to be stuck in a grief state. So there you go, everyone. That's complicated grief. If you want to catch me online, the website is kirstenhunterauthor.com. Lots of free resources on there. Facebook and Instagram, Kirsten Hunter Author, and Twitter, Kirsten Hunter AU. Also TikTok, I think, is Kirsten Hunter Author. Pretty sure. All right, thanks. See you later.